Hey friends, welcome back to the KidMin Word. It's Tuesday, so glad you're with me today. Yesterday, we left Peter and John, and where were they? They were in a jail cell in Acts 4, verse 3. What did they get arrested for? Preaching about Jesus after healing a lame man at the temple gate. And today I want to take you inside the very room that they're about to walk into, because understanding exactly who they are facing changes really how you read the rest of chapter 4. Verses 5 and 6 tell us this, that on the next day, their rulers and elders and scribes gathered together in Jerusalem with Annas the high priest and Caiaphas and John and Alexander, and all who were a part of the high priestly family. Now listen, this wasn't some minor league hearing, right? This was the Sanhedrin. These are some of the most supreme, this was, in fact, the most supreme religious council in Israel, made up of 71 of the most powerful men in Jewish society. There were chief priests, there were elders, scribes that had been trained for years in the law. These were the same men, by the way, who had handed Jesus over to Pilate just weeks earlier. So picture the room for a minute. You've got these stone floors, a semicircle of seats, the highest religious authorities in the nation seated, ready to judge. This was the body that decided doctrine, that settled disputes, and held real political power under Rome. So anyone that was brought before the Sanhedrin knew that they were standing before people who had spent their entire lives mastering the law, the scriptures, the art of argument. It was designed, the very room itself was designed to be intimidating. It was meant to make you feel small, uneducated, and outmatched. And who do we find walking into the room? But two uneducated fishermen from Galilee. Verse 7 says this, says that the leaders had Peter and John set before them right in the middle, and they inquired, by what power or by what name do you do this? Now notice they don't deny what happened. The healed man was standing right there as evidence. They're not questioning whether something happened. They're questioning the authority behind it. Because in their world, authority came from proper training, from proper lineage, from proper credentials. And Peter and John had none of that. And I want you to sit with this today. I want you to think about this. The Sanhedrin's entire system ran on credentials. Who did you study under? What family do you belong to, right? What's your pedigree? Peter and John showed up with none of that, right? No formal training, no political connections, no letter after their name, right? No PhD, MDiv, just an encounter with the risen Jesus and a miracle that they couldn't explain other than Jesus himself. And if you've ever felt unmatched walking into a room, into a school board meeting, into a denominational gathering, into a conversation with someone who had 3 degrees and you don't have one, I want you to remember this scene right here in Acts chapter 4. The most powerful religious institution in Israel summoned 2 ordinary men to answer for something extraordinary. And what happened in that room had nothing to do with credentials, had everything to do with who they had been with. Now, tomorrow we'll hear exactly what Peter said when he answered them. And it's one of the boldest, clearest gospel statements in all of Acts. But for today, just sit with this. God has never needed your resume to use you, right? He needed Peter and John to have been with Jesus. And that's still the qualification today that still matters the most. And it's worth remembering, too, that this council had real teeth. I mean, the Sanhedrin could excommunicate someone from the synagogue, strip away their standing in the community, even hand a case over to Rome if they wanted someone to be dealt with more severely. We saw that with Jesus. This was not a formality. Standing in this room carried genuine risk. And Peter and John knew that walking in, right? They had seen this what this same body had done with Jesus just weeks prior, right? But they walked in anyway. And that's a piece that should stop us in our tracks. Courage is not the absence of risk. It's telling the truth in spite of it. Peter and John weren't naive about what could happen to them. They simply weighed what they had seen and heard against what it might cost them, and they didn't flinch. And I love that. Friend, thanks for being here. This is the KidMin Word, and I'll see you back here in this same place tomorrow.